Today on Hopped Up Beer Review, we're going to be trying Hazy Beer Hug. It's a hazy IPA from Goose Island Beer Company out of Chicago, Illinois. Grrr! Hey everybody, welcome to Hopped Up Beer Review, the show where we give you our unprofessional, somewhat biased opinion about the beer that we are drinking and reviewing. Back to do that once again. There's Andy in the attic. There's Jay. I'm Ben. What grrr are we drinking today?
Hazy Bear Hug from Goose Island.
Nope. Hazy Beer Hug.
That's what I said. Hazy Beer Hug.
Sound like bear to me.
Sounded like bear to me.
But
we can have this conversation again, you know.
All right. Is this 3 of 4?
Yes. There's one
more.
West Coast.
One more after this one.
Exciting for Ben.
Always. Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
I'm going to go out and say it first so that when y'all take these next couple sips, some big inhales, look for notes of peaches, white grapes, and guava. Now, are white grapes the same as green grapes versus?
No, they're not. They're wine grapes, so they'd be like your Chardonnay, your dry wines.
I don't think I've ever seen them, whether in a picture, definitely not in real life.
They're not white, are they? They're like golden. Are they actually white?
No, they're not white. They're, like you said, they're more of a light yellow.
Yeah. Is that where we get those golden raisins from a white grape?
Don't know. You're moving into uncharted territory here. I have no idea.
All right. I'll get back to that. Hazy Beer Hug, Hazy IPA, as it implies. 6.8%. It uses Amarillo, Galaxy, and Nelson hops. Again, has notes of peaches, white grapes, and guava. That's it for the beer, unless y'all can find anything else on the can that I failed to mention. Nope.
No, it was born in Chicago.
Just a purple bear.
Bright, sunshiny, hazy. Goose Island Brewing Company, born in Chicago, 1988. The brewery is named after Goose Island in the North Branch of the Chicago River.
Technically a macro.
Currently, it is a macro, because in 2011, it was acquired by Anheuser-Busch. InBev,
AB InBev.
The owner, the founder, had, after a trip through Europe, wanted to have beer similar to what he could have in Europe here. It's like, let's make some good stuff. So he didn't start with the bear stuff. He started with what is it, like 312, Honker Ale? What are some of the other classic there's one that says IPA. One's IPA.
That's what I was trying to think of. Yeah,
the 312 is their pale, isn't it? And then
I think so.
Yeah, and then they do a lot of seasonal and limited, and of course they did start the wonderful Backyard series. The Bourbon
County Stout.
The backyard was
backyard is just
a variant
one of the
of
variants of it.
the Bourbon County Stout. So
Yeah, so the 312 is
Claims
wheat.
wheat.
It's their wheat ale, and the honker is a session, bitter session.
Gotcha. Is that our info?
That's all you get.
All right.
It works.
I did notice this one's a little out of date. October of 24.
We've had it a minute.
Yeah. And I noticed that because it says see bottom of can for drink by date. You know, so. But we've had it a minute, but I want to say I
bought it.
bought it after I bought it after that.
I
So,
think we discussed that with one of the previous ones.
yeah, we've had that Alaskan beer that I got back a couple of years ago was old.
Technically, we met. This was when you handed it over when we met in Huntsville, right? In October.
Was it?
So you had that prior to meeting us, which that was like
Yeah,
around
that was October
11th.
Yeah.
This is the 12th.
Okay, maybe not then.
Oh, well.
All right. Well, let's get on to reviewing what we got here. So keep that in mind. Jay, what do you think?
Who's had this before?
I actually have not had this one. Have you both? All right. So I do get to go first.
I think I knew that already.
I mean, I've had a lot of the Bear Hug series. I just hadn't had this one. So, it kind of reminds me. I do get the notes you mentioned, Andy. It was very helpful. You know, the white grape, the peaches, and the guava. I can all kind of get the flavor. It's hazy, but it's not extremely hazy. I mean, it's almost like a hazy light, if you will, to me. I don't know if that's could be qualified, but almost what a macro would do for a hazy IPA. So I think for me, it's probably just going to be a 7. It's all right. It's one of those you could drink several of, it being that crushable category, but it's not one that I'm going to seek out because I really like to try a lot of different things, and this one would definitely get lost in the mix. And it's too expensive to be a filler beer.
All right, I'll jump in and go next. Yeah, I think a light hazy is kind of a good description for it. For me, the white grape is what I pick out in the back end, and I don't know that I would have picked that out had you not mentioned it. So I'm not trying to say that, but definitely when you mentioned that was definitely what hit for me. So I think it's fine. I mean, it's for a hazy IPA, it's kind of what we've talked about. It's kind of that gateway into a hazy because it's not real overpowering in any sense. It's got some decent flavor, but it is on the light side. So I think for me, I think this one's probably a 6.5. I think it's okay. I'd drink it again if you handed it to me, but like Jay, I'm not necessarily going to seek it out. And we'll mark that I've had it because I probably didn't log it the last time I had it, since I don't always do that. But I will log it this time and then move on, and it'd be good with having marked it. Andy.
This one is not memorable to me. And I'm drinking it again, and I see why. It tastes like a session hazy IPA, but even at 6.8%, it tastes muted, a little watered down. You get some of the notes out of it, but it's bland. I had it almost 3 years ago at a local bar. I had it on draft, and I think I liked it better back then. Probably fresher, maybe being on draft amplified the taste, but I swear it was August of 22. Mm-hmm. And maybe it's sat too long. I don't know. I'm just not as impressed like as I've been. I'm not going to seek this out again, as it's kind of been like that with all the Beer Hugs series, and it's an unfortunate side effect of going macro. So you got to produce a lot to send it all over the place, because if we're getting this, it's going all over the place, because you can essentially get Goose Island almost all over the U.S. So
Yeah, and you find a lot of these in stadiums and arenas. I've noticed
yeah,
that, in some of the concerts and sporting events I've been to, they'll sell the big cans of them.
yeah, it's redeeming graces, unlike other macros, that it doesn't taste like corn. 6.8%. It's got a little flavor, got some haze, got a little floral hoppiness. So I give it a 6.5. A little lower than what I gave it on the draft. So.
And I wonder if part of that, because I go back to the first beer hug that I had that I remember having, and I remember it not being that bad. I think it was just the normal beer hug, and as we all know, IPA is not my favorite, but I don't remember like not liking it. And the can and all that, the marketing on this one kind of stands out because of just the name of a beer hug with a bear on it. But I've been, the three that we've had, I've been somewhat disappointed with them. So just not necessarily what I remember. And I don't know if that's just comes from us rating more beer and trying more different things in the last 3 years than previous years, or if the quality of the beer has gone down, or if it's just somewhat out of date. Could be one of several factors, I guess.
Yeah, you're not going to like the next one. I'll go ahead and tell you that.
Yep.
Which is the next one?
West Coast.
West Coast.
Oh, God.
Ben's least favorite style.
Yeah. Be sure to tune in and watch me not like another West Coast beer. That is going to be a 6.7 for the Hazy Beer Hug from Goose Island. Definitely one I think that we all agreed could have been a little bit better. I think we'll see what happens with the West Coast as we discussed here. So appreciate you checking out this video, though. We got a lot of links down below. Check those out. We've got a Hopped Up Beer Review Discord server. It's a chat room. You can come there and sync up with the three of us and the others who have joined us. We've got some merch links. We've got some glassware links that we showcase on the show sometimes. And so a bunch of other good information down there. Check all that out if you've not done so. And then be sure to like, subscribe, cheers, that notification bell. All that would definitely help us. And we are working towards 500 subs by the end of 2025. And as it stands right now, we've got just over 6 months to go. And so we're looking to hit that milestone. If you can help us out with that, we would appreciate it. For Andy in the attic and Jay, I'm Ben. Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.